Soil is the uppermost weathered layer of the Earth's crust. It is a dynamic entity which is always undergoing physical, chemical and biological changes. Soil is a three-phase system, namely solid, liquid and gaseous. The solid phase may be divided into inorganic or mineral and organic fractions. On volume basis, these components in a representative loam soil surface optimum for plant growth would be 25% each of air and water, 45% mineral soil and 5% organic matter, that is solids 50%. The proportion of air and water are subjected to rapid and great fluctuations. The volume composition of subsoils differs slightly from that of topsoil. Subsoils are lower in organic matter content, somewhat lower in total pore space and contain higher percentage of small pores that are filled much of time with water than air. The inorganic, that is mineral portion of a soil is composed of small rock fragments and minerals of different kinds. The rock fragments are composed of aggregates of minerals from which soils are formed by weathering. The organic matter comprises an accumulation of partly digested and decomposed plant and animal residues and other organic compounds synthesized by soil microbes as decay occurs. Organic matter is largely responsible for soil condition ideal for crop production, besides serving as a source of nutrients for plant growth. Rocks and minerals are the main sources of parent materials over which soils are developed. The rocks and minerals vary greatly in chemical composition. Rocks and minerals form the primary source of soil formation or development. Knowledge of rocks and minerals, that is parent material and their origin, mechanism for weathering and means of transport is essential for understanding of soils. Rocks. The material that forms the essential part of the Earth's solid crust, including incoherent mass such as sand and gravel, as well as solid mass of granite and limestone, is called a rock. A rock may also be defined as a mass of mineral matter. It is composed of one or more minerals. Some are hard and compact, that is granite, basalt, while others are loose and feebly aggregated, that is sand, stone, loose sand. Each rock possesses certain characters like structure, color, specific gravity, cleavage and mineralogical makeup, and that help to distinguish one from other. Rocks are divided into three main classes according to their origin or mode of formation, namely igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. Each of main class is further divided into subgroups depending upon the chemical and mineralogical composition, structure and mode of occurrence. Igneous rocks. These consist of an aggregate of silicate minerals formed by cooling and solidification of magma, that is molten rock. When solidified slowly and deeply within the earth, they are called plutonic rocks, that is granite, diorite, gabbro. When flowed, lava blown volcanic ash from a volcano, they are known as volcanic rocks. Both plutonic rocks are characterized by massive structure. According to their chemical composition, igneous rocks are divided into four main classes. Number 1, acidic rocks with more than 65% silica. Number 2, subacidic rocks with 60 to 65% silica. Number 3, subbasic rocks with 55 to 60% silica. Number 4, basic rocks with 45 to 50% silica. Sedimentary rocks. They are formed from the deposition and recementation of weathering products of other rocks brought by water. These are also known as aqueous of stratified rocks. Conglomerate sandstone and shale or sedimentary rocks formed by mechanical setting in water. Rock salt, that is halite, and gypsum are formed by chemical precipitation. Limestone may be formed by chemical precipitation or by organisms. In whatever way they are formed, all sedimentary rocks are of secondary or derivative origin, as they consist of materials that have previously existed on or beneath the surface of the earth. Hence, these rocks mainly consist of secondary minerals together with some quantities of primary minerals. These are usually layered in structure with layers parallel to the surface of the earth. Sedimentary rocks are divided into 6 groups. Metamorphic rocks. These are formed from the igneous or sedimentary rocks whose texture and or chemical composition has been changed by heat, that is thermometamorphism, pressure dynamometamorphism, and or chemically active fluids hydrometamorphism, and after original formation. Igneous rocks are commonly modified to form gneisses and schists, and those of sedimentary origin such as sandstone and shale may be changed to quartzite and slate respectively. Metamorphic rocks are characterized by a banded structure which is at right angles to the earth's original pressure plane. Important sedimentary and metamorphic rocks and their dominant materials are given in table 1. Further, rocks can also be classified into 3 types based on the silica content, and they are acid rocks. These rocks contain 65 to 70% silica. Examples: sandstone, granite, gneiss, rhyolite, pegmatite. Basic rocks. These rocks contain 40 to 55% silica. Examples: limestone, basalt, diabase, gabbro. Intermediate rocks. These rocks contain 55 to 65% silica. Example: diorite, syenite, andesite. Minerals are naturally occurring substances with a definite chemical composition and physical features. Example: quartz and orthoclase. The minerals are broadly classified into primary and secondary. Primary minerals dominate the coarser fractions of soil, namely sand, gravel, stone, whereas secondary minerals and clay minerals are most prominent in the fine material, especially in clays. Primary minerals. Examples are quartz, mucosite, orthoclase, biotite, microline, plagioclase, albite, hornblende, augite, anorthite, olivine. Secondary minerals. Examples are goethite, hematite, gibbsite, clay minerals, dolomite, calcite, gypsum. Based on the rate at which the minerals weathered, they are grouped into 3 types, and they are most resistant or very slow weathered minerals. Examples: quartz and muscovite. Moderately resistant or slowly weathered minerals. Examples: feldspar, that is orthoclase, and biotite. Least resistant or easily weathered minerals. Examples: augite, hornblende, olivine, calcite. The description of some of the important minerals are presented here under. Quartz, silica. It forms double hexagonal pyramid crystals, chief constituent of sandy fraction. Rocks containing free silica in abundance that is not combined with bases are called acid rock. In granite, that is acid rock, quartz is present in a pure form as a prominent constituent. Basic rocks like basalt and augite contain only a little, if any, of free silica. The acid rocks give rise to the sandier types of soils under moderate rainfall, and basic rocks to the clay types of soils. Feldspars or feldspars. Formula: K2O Al2O3 6 SiO2. Such minerals constitute about 48% of Earth's crust, whereas quartz constitutes 36% and mica 10% of Earth's crust. Potash feldspars form the orthoclase feldspar group. Albite or soda feldspar and anorthite or lime feldspar constitute the plagioclase group. Potash feldspar is a chief constituent of acid igneous rocks and lime soda feldspar of basic igneous rocks. Feldspar weather easily and give rise to clay on hydrolysis. Micas. Potash mica is white, clear and transparent and known as muscovite mica. It is double silicate of potash and alumina with a part of potash is replaced by hydrogen. Magnesium mica is called biotite mica, resembles muscovite mica but black in color. White mica is more resistant to weathering than black mica. Micas are more resistant to weathering than feldspar and other silicates. Olivine, ferromagnesium silicate. Two hydrated forms of olivine are talc and serpentine is a hydrated silicate of magnesium. Tourmaline, it is a boroalumino silicate. Weathering refers to the physical and chemical disintegration and decomposition of rocks which are not in equilibrium under temperature, pressure and moisture conditions on the Earth's surface. In the beginning, weathering creates the parent material over which soil formation takes place. Later, weathering, soil formation and development proceed simultaneously. The weathering may be physical, chemical and biological. Physical weathering. Disintegration of the rock or of the mineral constituents of a soil under the physical action without any chemical change or formation of new products is referred as physical weathering. Physical weathering may take place in many ways. Granular disintegration. Rocks composed of coarse mineral grains commonly fall apart grain by grain or undergo granular disintegration. Exfoliation. A rock mass disintegrates, layer leaving behind successfully smaller spheroidal bodies and forming curved rock shells by disintegration. And this type of rock breakup is also called spalling. These layers separate due to successive cooling and heating with changes in temperature. Block separation. This type of disintegration takes place in rocks with numerous joints acquired by mountain making pressures or by shrinkage due to cooling. This type of disintegration in rocks can be achieved by comparatively weaker forces. Shattering. A used rock may undergo disintegration along weak zones to produce highly angular pieces with sharp corners and edges through the process of shattering. Frost action. This type of weathering is common in cold climate. During the warm season, the water penetrates the pore space and fractures in rocks. During the cold season, the water freezes into ice and its volume expands. This exerts tremendous pressure on rock walls to tear apart even massive rocks. Mass wasting. As gravity exerts its force on all matter, both bedrock and the products of weathering tend to slide, roll, flow or creep down all slopes in different types of earth and rock movements grouped under the term mass wasting. This may take place in variety of ways. Talus cones. Rock particles created by the process of mechanical weathering move down high mountain slopes and steep rock walls of gorges. These particles tend to get deposited in a distinctive landform. Earth flow. In humid climate, regions where there are steep slopes, the masses of soil saturated with water, overburden or weak bedrock may slide downslope during a period of few hours in the form of earth flow. Landslide. This is rapid sliding along hill slopes of rock mass. It may take place either by rock along a relatively flat inclined rock plane or by slump mechanism involving a rotating motion of the sliding rock mass on a slightly curved slope. Soil creep. This is the extremely slow downslope movement of soil and overburden on almost all moderately steep soil covered slopes. Mud flow. In region with sparse vegetation, to check the flow of water, the sudden flow of water due to rain acquires a muddy character on its journey downslope. Solifluction. This form of mass wasting is common in the Arctic regions. In late spring and early summer, the water penetrates and saturates the upper part of the soil, but is unable to go deeper because of frozen conditions below. The upper saturated soil's mass starts flowing along slopes. This movement causes the formation of terraces and lobes due to punctuated deposition. The principal agents of physical weathering are temperature, the differential expansion and contraction of minerals in the rocks due to variations in temperature set up internal tensions, form weaker zones and gradually break them apart. High temperature accelerates the process of chemical weathering, especially in warm, humid regions. Water. Torrential rains and flowing waters dislocate the solid particles on the rocks and expose the portion to the agents of weathering. The dislodged particles are carried down and deposited elsewhere as alluvium. Similarly, the sea waves wear off the rocks on the shore, and the glaciers in the high mountains exert an erosive and transporting influence on the rocks and their fragments. Wind. Wind exerts abrasive action, detaches the particles from the rocks and acts as a carrying agent. Sand storms in the deserts and high winds on the seashore have both erosive and transportive action. Chemical weathering causes rocks to decay, that is, to decompose instead of disintegrating. Chemical weathering takes place in the lower layers may be termed as geochemical weathering, whereas the process takes place at the surface and under the surface may be termed as pedochemical weathering. The minerals contained in the structure of rocks undergo chemical changes when they get in contact with atmospheric water and air. These chemical changes cause rock particles to break up due to decomposition. Atmospheric water contains oxygen, carbon, sulfur, hydrogen, etc., and the air also contains oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide. High levels of temperature and water content enhance the pace of chemical reactions. The chemical decomposition of rocks is brought about by solution, hydration, hydrolysis, carbonation, oxidation and reduction. Solution. The solvent action of water is an important means of weathering rocks containing soluble salts, example gypsum and limestone. The solvent action is increased in the presence of carbon dioxide and organic acids released during the decomposition of organic matter. Salts of sodium, potassium, calcium and magnesium are readily removed in solution. Hydration. Hydration implies the association of water molecules with minerals. It provides bridge or entity for the hydronium ions to attack the structure. Hydrolysis. It is the most important process of chemical weathering. During hydrolysis, the hydronium ions, that is from water, attack the weatherable minerals and alter them completely or modify them drastically. In the process, hydroxides are formed. Carbonation. The hydroxides produced during hydrolysis react with dissolved carbon dioxide to form corresponding carbonates, which may either leach out or accumulate according to drainage and weather conditions. Oxidation and reduction. Oxidation reactions are characterized by a transfer of electrons, oxidation corresponding to loss and reduction to a gain of electrons. These reactions can speed mineral breakdown by making some minerals more soluble. Oxidized ions are smaller and higher charged than the ions in their reduced state. Therefore, minerals are unstable and weather very rapidly as some of their atoms oxidized. Oxidation is an important reaction in well aerated rocks and soil material where oxygen supply is high and biological demand is low, whereas during reduction the supply of oxygen is low, but the biological demand is high. Biological weathering. Apart from physical and chemical weathering, there are different biological or living agents which are responsible for carrying out disintegration and decomposition of rocks and minerals, namely man and animal, roots of higher plants, different microorganisms, etc. Man and animal. The action of human being in the disintegration of rocks is well recognized as he cuts to build dams, channels, roads and buildings, etc. Due to such activities of man, the bigger size rocks are converted into smaller ones and thereby increased the surface area of rocks, which favors the chemical weathering process leading to decomposition of rocks and minerals. The role of animals is somewhat similar to man. Large number of birds, insects, worms, etc. live in the rocks, and by their activities they make holes in the rocks and thus help in weathering. Roots of higher plants. The roots of trees and other plants penetrate into the joints and crevices of rocks. Due to growth and development of these trees, the roots exert a tremendous pressure because of its development, and the hard rock may be broken into smaller ones. Microorganisms. At the very initial stages of mineral decomposition and soil formation, the lower forms of plants and animals like lichens, mosses, bacteria, fungi, actinomycetes, etc. play an important role. These organisms extract nutrients from the massive solid rock, nitrogen from the air, and can live with a very small amount of moisture. In due course of time, the soil develops under the cluster of mosses, algae, and bacteria. These organisms act upon the decay of plants and animals remains and produce various complex organic compounds, carbon dioxide and also nutrients. The production of carbon dioxide and other organic compounds help in the decomposition of minerals. Based on the information furnished on the topic entitled Soil Forming Factors in the foregoing paragraphs, it can be concluded that soil is considered as a dynamic natural body composed of organic and inorganic, that is mineral materials, and living forms on which plants grow. However, the rocks and minerals play a greater role in deciding the composition of mineral matters, as these are subjected to physical, chemical and biological weathering.